Alright, finally live. Sorry for the delay, guys. Um, Again, just the usual stuff at the beginning of the stream. Wait for some people to roll in, see who's here, and I'll get going. Once I see, I get a gauge of how many people are in here, how many we're gonna get. Today, if you couldn't read the title or look at the thumbnail already, we are going to be talking about thumbnails, because I honestly couldn't think of anything else to do today for a stream. So I thought, hey, I'm going to be making a thumbnail for my next video anyway, or the video after next. So you know what? Why don't I take you guys through the process of how I make them? Give you guys some minor tips, nothing too revolutionary here. It's going to be going down. Just a basic step-by-step process of, you know, how I do things. Just let me share the stream around a bit, and I'll get going. For those of you tuning in afterward, I'll probably leave this up on my channel. Whenever you want to tune in and watch, or if you're watching this afterward, I'll get to it, don't worry about it. Alright. I'm not assuming the biggest crowd for this, to be honest. It's a thumbnail tutorial, you know. I've got a general gist of how we're not gonna get that big a crowd here to watch me make thumbnails, but we'll see how many tune in. We've got 5 right now. If you end up popping in, just say hello in the chat. And first of all, I'm going to be working mainly with Photoshop, if that wasn't apparent already. And I'm also I'll give you guys some helpful links in the description. Well, not in the description, in chat, of some really cool places you can get some good assets for thumbnails, especially if you make Fire Emblem videos. Again, just let me share the stream around a little bit more, and we'll get to it. What's up, Galade SFX? Again, you're not going to be seeing any crazy stuff here. Nothing too revolutionary. But I'll walk you through some cool things you can do. Anyway, share the stream around. How many people we got in here? I'm probably, once I get started, I'm not going to be looking at the dashboard. We got 5. You know what? I don't expect there to be much of a bigger crowd later. If you have any questions about some of the stuff I'm doing, then feel free to pop in. Anyways, I'm gonna get up some of my thumbnails, some previous thumbnails, and I'm gonna point out I'm just gonna get out some PNGs of the raw thumbnails. We'll start with my very first. I'm gonna go through a few of my thumbnails and I'm gonna talk about them. This is gonna be really boring, guys. Anyways. It's like, I cannot think of a more boring thing, honestly. But I know there's some people out there who fiend this kind of thing, you know? Okay. So, let me get up. Do I have the Photoshop document of this? I have to. I haven't looked at it in a while. Oh, no, I haven't looked at this in a really long time. Give me one. Let me get out of this. And it was this. There you go. That's it, right? Yeah, that's it. So, honestly, my Photoshop documents are an absolute mess. Also, what's up, Colton? My Photoshop documents are an absolute mess. Please don't follow my formatting of how I organize these things. If you're looking here at my layers, they're absolutely in complete disarray. It's not very good, but you know what? They work for me. Let's start with the text. Now, if you've been on my channel, you'll know that I love, or maybe actually you probably won't know this. Nexa Bold and Nexa Light are the two fonts I use in everything. These two fonts right here. Nexa Bold and Nexa Light. Nexa Bold is let me take out the effects on this. Nexa Bold, this is what it looks like. Actually, you can see what it looks like if I get up where is it? You'll see Nexa Bold in almost all of my videos. It's basically my font. I didn't make the font, obviously. I'll probably let me find some links to some Nexa stuff if I can. But I use the hell out of this font, mainly because it's exactly what I want out of my thumbnails. When you use all caps with Nexa Bold, look how much it like pops and how simple it is. It's simple and it's to the point and it can catch an eye really fast, especially when used in contrast with Nexa Light. I'm just gonna get up some Nexa Light on here. Sorry, I'm just spamming some oops. Again, not a Photoshop master by any means. Let's change this to black. But Nexa Light, especially when used in conjunction with Nexa Bold, can get some really nice effects. I usually, in thumbnails, you won't see me use Nexa Light. You'll see me use Nexa Light. You'll see me use Nexa Light more in see me use it more in videos because that's more effective there. In a thumbnail, number one thing, if you have any text in a thumbnail, any text, it needs to be legible. It needs to be immediately legible, and that's what you see. Like for example, this first thumbnail. If I take the zoom out tool and I zoom out as far as like, if it's this tiny and I can't read it, I mean, you guys might, even though you guys might not be able to read that. I can read it on my screen because it's such a, if I enlarge this, I can still read that. Even though, look how small it is. Look how small that is. Like, and I can still read it totally fine. So, or reasonably fine. And basically, you want your text on your thumbnails to be legible even when it's going to be shown in really tiny spots. Because if you go on YouTube, your thumbnail is going to appear big, it's going to appear small. It could appear, well, not this small, but it's going to appear in a bunch of different sizes. And you need any text on a thumbnail to be immediately legible, like instantly. Where if somebody takes one glance at it, they can read it instantly. They don't need to like squint at it, although that can be used in some ways as a tactic in itself, but that's not what I'm going for in my videos. I'm trying to make my videos straight to the point. When I have my thumbnails, I need them to be as clear and precise and just concise. And that's why I use almost, this is almost a subtitle in a way. If I go to one of my videos, for example, this video is called, what is the video called? It just hit 100K today, but what's it exactly called? Also, sorry, apparently my stream health is not doing too well right now. Oh man, I'm dropping frames. Oh no, dropping frames, guys. Give me a moment. Let me go to my settings. Output. Let's turn the bitrate down. Sorry guys, the quality may take a hit here. but I'm clearly having trouble with my internet. Yeah, my stream health is not doing too good. Sorry, guys. By the way, in the stream we are gonna make the thumbnail like, or I'll probably make. You know what? I haven't made a very good template for my thumbnails. I usually like my thumbnails kind of stack on one another. I just open up the file I had last and then add more images to it. Like if you look at this file has so many like just random faces in it, just around. Even though like, let me turn this on. Why are these effects off? I know I turned them off, but let me turn them back on. But I generally like to keep the text extremely legible. That's a priority for me. Again, let me just check what this video is called, because this is another technique I like to use. This video, I can't believe I can't even remember what it's called. It's like literally choosing your first Fire Emblem, I believe it's called. But yeah, Fire Emblem Guide, choosing your first Fire Emblem. Notice how in the thumbnail, I did not repeat the words that I chose to put in the thumbnail. Is not any single word that was in the title. Or I used the thumbnail text as a subtitle to complement the title. Because people generally, if they're looking at a thumbnail, in a way, some people do it the other way around, where the thumbnail is the title, and the title is the subtitle in reality of what the video is about. Some people do that. But generally, I like, for example, a question. Obviously, questions, for those of you who know, what is it, or in journalism, what is it, the rule of headlines? There's some rule of headlines where whenever it's a question, the answer is probably no, especially is like, is this? Question mark, and the answer is usually no. In this case, where there's questions like this, like where to start, this is perfect because if somebody who is looking for a video called choosing your first Fire Emblem Guide, what are they thinking? Where do I start? That's the most common kind of thread of thinking, and you want to prey on what people are thinking, and how sometimes titles, people don't always read the title, but thumbnails, if they catch the eye, and if they get people, like, if they grab somebody, and it presents them with a question that they want the answer to, especially if you target it correctly, and in this case, the Fire Emblem Guide, choosing your first Fire Emblem video, has been my most successful video. Not necessarily just for just the thumbnail. There's other reasons why that video was successful, but the thumbnail, I think, also has to do with it in that it says where to start. You want the words on your thumbnails to be both complementary to the title, and if somebody were to read it on its own, separate from the title, it would have some statement or some question that requires further elaboration. I'll tell you what I mean later. There's some examples that I have on my channel that are not good examples, but this is one where I think it worked really well. In terms of the assets, so let's go again. We get back to Photoshop. Let me get the background. You'll notice that the background in my videos. Let's see how big this thing is. This thing's huge. Where is it? I have it. Give me a moment. I have this saved. Trying to figure out where though. Where I have this is saved. And again, I'll hit you guys up with some links if I can. Give me guys a moment. Gotta find the raw assets. There it is. Now this For those of you who have seen my Fire Emblem showcase, like the cool stuff from around the internet, this is from the Reddit user Kaz Kirigiri. It has a bunch of HD assets. What else do I have on here? We have this. I use almost all of these. Or you've probably seen these appear in at least a few of my videos, because they are such amazing assets, and they're high resolution, and they're perfect. What you might not know is that the thumbnail, like my video thumbnails, use where's the crop tool? I just use this bottom right corner here with this pattern. That, you know, you can see right here, look. This is the whole, this is this. But I only use the bottom left corner because I like the pattern. And I like this this pattern. I think it looks nice and clean. And when you put text over it, if this was just to be a solid color, let me make this just a solid color. If I were to make this, I'll go to this other technique. If I were to make this a solid color, I mean, it looks okay, but at the same time, it just lacks that kind of I don't know. There's this new movement. You can see it on my odd rhythm. Where's my odd rhythm? In my odd rhythm, a lot of modern design likes stuff like, or most popular designs nowadays like stuff like this. Clean, like black, simple, contrasted with the background, plain colors, very nice and simple and minimalistic. However, sometimes I find minimalism is kind of it's just kind of boring, you know? And if I want something that's eye-catching, minimalism can do it sometimes, but not always. And if I go back to this thumbnail, and let me turn off the color overlay. There's just the text and the character are the focus of my thumbnails. They're the focus because, one, people see a Fire Emblem character, and if somebody sees a Fire Emblem character in a thumbnail, they know the video is about Fire Emblem. They don't even need to read the title. That's why I like using, and usually you'll notice that I tend to lean toward more popular characters also in my thumbnails. Because although it's technically, you could consider it a form of clickbait. Yeah, it technically is. But it's very, for example, you know what? Let's open my latest thumbnail that you'll see tomorrow, because new upload tomorrow going up. Let me just get up the new thumbnail. And you'll see, I think this is one of my better thumbnails. I don't think it's one of the best ones I've done. For example, this thumbnail. I used what is it? Actually, do I have the raw file here? Thumb 18. I think I ended up using a version. This isn't the version you'll see up, because the version that's on there is actually better than this one, because I accidentally saved over it, but it's still the YouTube one. Wait a minute. I'll fix this. Give me a moment. This is what it was like. Or this is the thumbnail guys will see. Here's the thing. Lucina, is she necessarily the focus of the video? No. Lucina is not really the focus of the video. Is Lucina in the video? Momentarily, just for some cutscenes. But when somebody sees Lucina, and somebody likes Lucina, they're intrigued. It's that simple. For example, on my my RNG video, this one's a little more subtle. for people who have played Awakening, what is a character they would associate with RNG? Oh my god, wait a minute. Did I not? Give me a moment. Is this thumb even correct? I think I might have messed it up. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't need to open that. You can see my files are a mess. My file's an absolute mess. I'll just open up this. Get in the AG. Actually, whoops. I chose Lon'qu for the RNG thumbnail. Now, the reason I did that... Oh, what the hell does it want from me? Also, I'm using a lot of memory right now because I have so many PSDs open. Let me close some of these. No. Why did I choose Lon'qu? Well, most Fire Emblem people, or players, have played Awakening. What is the character that they would most associate with RNG? Well, Lon'qu is a crit machine. Like, it's just simple things like that where... Lon'qu's not necessarily in the video. I don't necessarily mention Lon'qu by name, or I don't really reference him very much. Also, I'm not paying attention to the stream. You guys might be I might be I might be dropping way more frames than I think. 27%. Oh my god, that is not good. Yeah, my stream health is terrible, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please tell me if it's like unwatchable, or if it's impacting you, whatever I'm saying. Because I don't like having dropped frames. Nobody does. Nobody likes having dropped frames. I don't know why it's dropping frames, but anyways, like, what's the character they would most associate with RNG? Lon'qu. In terms of this thumbnail, it's a little simpler. You'll notice Lucina is in a lot of my thumbnails, or Master Marth, and that's just because the character's popular. It's that simple, and it's this kind of like my thumbnails. I know I've been talking a lot about them for the last little bit, but there's not much to them. It's pretty simple. Large legible text that functions as a subtitle. Popular character that has something to do with the topic of the video or is just popular by nature. And then a background color to differentiate it from my other videos. So, for example, what I do is that if I take off the color, I have this is a really crude technique, but what I do is that, for those of you who use Photoshop, I just use the blending options and I go to color overlay and I set the opacity to about around 50 or less, and I just mess with the color overlay, and I try to make it so the pattern in the background is still. Usually I turn the opacity down if it's getting a little too if I can't tell what the pattern in the background is, I usually turn the opacity down and mess with it again, just so the pattern is at least still there. But I just mess around with color overlay. It's really inefficient, not gonna lie. It's not a good method at all, but it works for me. And I just mess around with different colors, and generally, for example, let me get up, let me cancel. Let me get up this thumbnail. The one that is the stream's thumbnail. Sorry, this is a very incoherent thumbnail tutorial. I'm mainly just going over my mindset. Sometimes the color is just arbitrarily is choosing, like, oh, Om's hair's green. I'll go for something green and see how it looks. And it ended up looking all right here. Again, I'm gonna have to close a bunch of these. Give me a moment. So now we're actually gonna create one. Now, the reason I chose, or the reason I decided to stream this is because my next video is not going to be about Fire Emblem. Or at least tomorrow's video is going to be about Fire Emblem, and that'll go up around 5 o'clock. I forget what time I scheduled it to be. Let me close all these. I'm not going to save any changes I made. Let me close all these. So we're going to be working with, my thumbnails are, I work with a file that is about 1600 by 900, 16 by 9, 1600 by 900, yeah. 1600 by 900. Nothing crazy. I just think this is all default settings, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm not the most Photoshop, like, that amazing with Photoshop, so forgive me if I'm doing something horribly wrong here, and you guys are Photoshop, like, proficient, but I just kind of use it for whatever, like, whatever need I need in a moment. I'm not an expert in it. So, this is just 16 by 9, all transparent. Now, oh man, I need to get back to my assets. And give me a moment. Pavis pack. Seems watchful on my end. It's still watchable. Anna is most associated with RNG though. Stream pauses at random for me, like the video ended. It's been going fine for me the past 2 minutes, so it might have been fixed. Same. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's dropping many frames anymore. But it was... Please tell me when it gets bad. Or if it makes it... Anyways, we're actually going to get into making a thumbnail now. Anyways, my next video is not anything to do with Fire Emblem, which is why I decided that it'd be a kind of a challenge to make one, and it's a... We'll see how it goes on stream. It's talking about... I'm not going to show the video on here, but it's about innovation versus refination. Refinement versus... To innovate versus to refine. And how we should value innovation against refinement when comparing games. And the games I'm comparing are Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. So this thumbnail presents an interesting challenge. I'm probably going to stick with the same background because it's what's worked for me. So we're probably going to be using Kaz's backdrop. Alright, this is very oh man. This is how we do it. This is your professional, well, not professional, but this is how you make a thumbnail, guys. You just stretch out a huge kind of, oh gosh, come on, whoops. You just you just stretch it out, man. That's all you do. This is a pro at work, guys. And that should be fine. We're not going to be working with this much for now. I usually don't choose a color until the end. But the problem with this video, what it's going to be, is that big words. Big words. Innovation, refination. And you'll see what I mean where big words become a problem. Sorry, guys. Have the background be Mario's nose? Nah. Yeah, sorry if my hair is all over the place. But, I'll show you what I mean by how big words can be a problem. So I'm going to be using next to bold. That's just, I try to keep a consistent branding on my channel of just everything should look nice and neat and cohesive. So that's why I'm generally using these same settings. You don't have to do it exactly how I do it if you plan on making your own thumbnails. You just generally, as I make it, I'm going to talk about, so again, just repeat some of the principles that I stick by when I'm making a thumbnail. And yeah, so let's get some words on here. We got innovation, refination. Generally, this is what I like to do. It's just put some keywords. What is it? Let's just versus. That's some good keywords. Another problem with me is that, okay, see how there's some lowercase ones in here. So let's go. I don't know why I did lowercase. The thing about lowercase is just not as noticeable as all caps. It's just that simple. All caps is much more attention grabbing. That's why you see it in so many titles. Also, ignore any typos for now. I usually fix those later. Versus would be lowercase anyway, or if I had it in a thumbnail, I'd have it as lowercase because it's much more noticeable that way. So let's make this big, and you'll see a problem right away. That shouldn't be a comma. Versus. First of all, you'll notice is that if I make it too big, it just won't fit. Like, it's that simple. If I make it big, if I'm using big words like innovation and refination, they're just not going to fit. If I need for them to, I mean, I could, if I wanted, I can go into the text options. And what? I can change I can squeeze them in. Actually, no, that's probably not the way to do it. There's an option. Or you can mess with the spacing between characters. Or if I really was desperate, I could squeeze it if I really want to. If I really want to fit these words in. But generally, you don't want to use words that are too huge in a thumbnail. People won't get to the end. For example, one of my worst thumbnails, I'm going to try to bring one out, or at least in my opinion, one of my worst thumbnails, is, where is it? Let's see. That one's okay. Let's go to a good one. Another good one that I think a good thumbnail that it demonstrates the power of small words. This thumbnail. Fate's flawed map. 3 simple words. Fate's flawed map. That's just 3 words. Flawed is what, 1, 2, 3, 6 characters, and it's already kind of a little impeding here on Corin's space. It's just when you make words too big and you plan on having a character here, if you're going to be even using a character in your thumbnail, if you cover them up with text, why even have them there? So I have to think of a way to get across the same information as innovation versus refination in much smaller words. I'm probably going to still use versus, because versus is a very powerful, in my opinion, it's a very powerful word to use, or powerful kind of, how do I describe this? In my opinion, it's a very powerful word, because if somebody is on one side of a versus, or has a side in versus, and it's any kind of battle, or kind of discussion or debate, they want to watch the video. It's that simple. It's like simple words like verses, or even question marks. Just things that elicit a reaction. In my opinion, I try to elicit reactions without being too overbearing on the eyes. A lot of YouTube channels, to get your attention and to elicit a reaction, they go for the typical clickbait stuff. And yeah, I use that a little bit, not in the typical sense. I try to make it a little more subtle, and I think some of my videos or thumbnails are better for that, or much cleaner and less more consistent in a tone. You'll see a lot of like reaction or face shots of people's faces reacting in certain ways, because that elicits a reaction out of us. There's a lot of psychology behind thumbnails and the reason they're made that way. Of course, I don't have my reaction faces. The equivalent of my reaction face are Fire Emblem characters. And I have to make sure what I'm saying in these 3 words also elicits some kind of reaction. I say Fate's flawed map. If somebody sees and reads Fate's flawed map, like, they don't even read the title, they just read Fate's flawed map. Like, they think to themselves, is Fate's map really bad? Or like, I mean, it's not really, this is more of a provocative statement. For those of you who know your kind of English and opening and rhetoric stuff. You've got opening with a question. You've got dramatic statement. Some people use quotes in thumbnails. I've seen they use it so they quote somebody or misquote them to get like clicks. In my case, if I look through my thumbnails that I've made, let's see, questions will appear quite often. Where to start, classic or casual. Provocative statements will appear a lot. Fate's flawed map, the PvP problem. Or a question again, would an anime work? Questions, provocative statements I generally find to be very effective. My RNG video was a little tamer. And I went for something a little more not in your face. It was just the thumbnail just said impact of RNG. And then I put Lonku there. And that way it elicits its own kind of reaction, but nothing as strong as some of my other ones. Let's see. Some of my weaker ones are... Okay, let's go over some weak ones and why they're weak. And you can almost notice in the views why they're weak. Let's get up a few here. And why they're weak. In terms of... You'll notice, I've noticed this a lot too. The quality of your thumbnail can drastically... You can look at your thumbnail, and if your thumbnail is not good, it will impact your views. And that's what I've noticed with these two in specific. I tried with this one to do my best without being too kind of clickbaity. Because I don't... Like, there's a lot of negative connotations that go with being clickbaity that I don't like. So I try to be a little more subtle. This video was called... Let me get... I can't even remember my titles. Give me a moment. Can't even remember my titles. This video is called, what is it? Fire Emblem Heroes Quick Review, right? Fire Emblem Heroes Quick Review. That's the title, and I just put in the thumbnail, just 3-minute review. You know how boring that is? You know how boring? It's like, that's not a question. It's not provocative. It doesn't really even provoke any kind of reaction. It's just saying what the video is. 3-minute review. It's just saying what it is. And that's what the title's for. That's what the title is for. The title is for saying what your video is. If your title's misleading, or in my mind, I try never to make misleading titles, or I'm totally against it. A thumbnail should not be a title. That's the thing. Unless you're working it the other way around, where your title is your subtitle, and your thumbnail is your actual title. If you're working it that way, then yeah, it's fine. But when you're working the other way, when your titles are actually titles, your thumbnails should not be... They should be subtitles, not another title. If I sub 3-minute review into my title, it still works. You know? Fire Emblem Heroes, 3-minute review. And I could have put quick, and I could have put... what is it? I could have put... quick review in the thumbnail and twitched them, and it would have changed anything. Maybe my analogy is about to fall apart here, but I can't fit. For example, let me go to my sorry guys, you're hearing a bunch of my random ramblings about thumbnails. If I put, let's see, Fate's Flawed World Map. In this case, in the Fate's Flawed Map, I literally could not think of any better wording. So I just put it, in this case, Fate's Flawed Map, the video is called Fire Emblem Fates Flawed World Map. In that case, yeah, it can work. But as long as there's some kind of aspect in your title or your thumbnail that elicits a reaction of any kind of reaction that will get somebody to click and watch. When you hear the words 3-minute review, does that, like, trigger anything in you? Does that get anything going in your mind? Like, no. It's just saying, it's so plain and boring, and you know what? It may be what the video is. It is a 3-minute review. It is that. But there's so many other things that you could put here instead that elicit a reaction from people and get them to press or click on it. When they see 3-minute review, they don't really care. Or at least I find they generally don't care. You'll see I find a correlation in my thumbnail quality and my views, or maybe I just have confirmation bias on my low view videos. Never know. Here's another one, Blood Runs Red. The thing about this one is that I did the same technique as I did with the Fates Flawed World map, and that I just took the title and I put it in the thumbnail. With Fates Flawed map, it worked, but it worked because it was a provocative statement, you know? Blood Runs Red without context makes no sense. If somebody sees a thumbnail that says Blood Runs Red, they're like, and they see the Black Knight, they're like, like, no duh. And they don't read the title. What's like the title of this video? Sorry, I'm gonna keep going back to my titles. The title of this video is Fire Emblem Classics Blood Runs Red, Path of Radiance Chapter 11. In fact, I actually really like this video, and I'm sad it doesn't have as many views as I think it deserves. But I can only blame myself on the thumbnail in some ways. But again, does it elicit any reaction? No, not really. Like, Blood Runs Red. Without context, that elicits 0 reaction. Nothing. 3-minute review. No reaction is going to get elicited there. Just nothing. It's doing nothing for to engage or interact with the viewer. Fates Flawed map. There we go. We have a reaction. We have this provocative statement. We have a statement. We have something the viewer can not interact with, but kind of parley with or debate with or think about. You know? Something that they can hook onto. Fates Flawed map. Do I think Fates World map is flawed? Yes or no? Do I know anything about Fates map? Maybe yes or no. It's got something to latch onto, you know? Sorry, getting really sidetracked here. But let's look for another one. The PvP problem. This is one that works, in my opinion, super well. The PvP problem. First of all, alliteration is your friend, by the way. Fates Flawed. PvP problem. I'm telling you, alliteration. You'll see it in a bunch of my titles. I love alliteration, guys. I spam it in my titles, my thumbnails. You won't see the end of alliteration from me. I love it. It's such a subtle, powerful tool. I'm surprised more people don't use it. Anyways, the PvP problem. Oh man. See, a title like this again elicits a reaction. Like it gives the person who sees it something to chew on, you know? Like Fire Emblem PvP, there's a problem? Or, oh yeah, I hate PvP, it definitely has problems. I'm gonna watch this video. Or the PvP problem. I love PvP. What's the problem with PvP and Fire Emblem? I'm gonna watch the video. Let's see what he has to say. You see what I mean? There's something there. There's substance to what's on the screen, you know? Or what's in the thumbnail. There's substance that somebody can watch, look at with no context. They know what's about Fire Emblem. If they know anything about Fire Emblem, they know who Donald is. They see PvP problem. It tells you what the video's about. And it's something of substance, too, that they can work with. Or I'm going to use the word interact, because that's kind of what it is, but not really. It's something for them to digest, to think about what they think about the same topic. That's just not possible with 3-minute review or Blood Runs Red. Maybe if they know the chapter Blood Runs Red, it'll engage with them, but it's just not relatable enough on a surface level to instantly engage with. So that's an inherent problem I'm seeing with this. What the video's about. It's about innovation versus refination, yes. But that's not very easy to latch onto. It's not. They're not exactly polar opposites in a way. In the context of the video, it makes sense. Innovation versus refination and the way I'm talking about it. But in a thumbnail, is it really going to make sense? if somebody sees this with no context, kind of, it'll work in a title, but I need to find another way to work with this, or else this is not going to be an effective thumbnail. Actually, I'm going to take away the background for now. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at the comments now. Because I don't have a dual monitor set up. Yeah. Blood buns bed. You fixed it, dude. Wait a minute. You gotta use the B emoji, dude. What are you doing? Alright, let me just get the comments up. Sorry guys. Yeah, you're right. If I had played Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, that thumbnail could cause a reaction, but the level of people who have played Path of Radiance and are in the modern fan base, it's smaller than you think. It's not, and people don't remember chapter names, you know? Some people do. Some people, if it's a really popular chapter, will know its name. But the general common person, are they going to know about a random Fire Emblem chapter name from Path of Radiance? Not really. So yeah. Let's see if I have any other thumbnails that we can work with here. The odd rhythm thumbnail, I'm actually not a fan of, but I just wanted something that I wasn't planning on pushing this video too hard. It was more of a personal project in the first place, so that I felt like I'd do something that fit the vibe of the video more than enticing viewers. But I can't afford to take that liberty anymore because I need, no, I don't need to, but it's now a goal for me to grow the channel, you know? So I have to entice new people to click and watch, so. I probably won't make a thumbnail like this again. But now, okay. Innovation versus refination. It's about boiling this down to as basic and accessible words as possible. And this is not going to be easy. Anyways, yeah, I'll take this out. It's about finding the words. For example, the video is, I haven't even decided on the title of the video, which makes this even harder because this will probably change. The thumbnail will probably change, but the video is going to be called Super Mario Galaxy 1 versus Super Mario Galaxy 2, Innovation versus Refination. That's going to be the title. So I don't want to use these words again because it's not going to again, like I was talking about, out of context of the video, out of the context of the argument I'm trying to make in the video, it's very hard to latch on to because A, it's big words, 2, they are not polar opposites. It's not like Pepsi versus Coke. Innovation and refination are not polar opposites. It's just in the context of the video that I'm talking about, they happen to be different perspectives on the same on an issue. But it's not going to work out of context. So I've got to think of, okay, this isn't going to work. Big words, not going to fit on the screen. Big words, people aren't going to read them. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's think. Well, we're working with the Galaxy games. Galaxy. That fits pretty nice. Let's see how Galaxy 2 looks. Still not tearing it up, to be honest. Here we go. I just thought of this. Which is better? So simple. Again, you gotta make it as simple, to the point, and where it elicits a reaction. Which is better? And if I use a proper image with this, this one will require a little more room, so I'll probably align the text like this. so I can fit Galaxy 1 and 2 in here. Or an image representing 1 or Galaxy 2. Which is better? That's not what the video is about. I'm probably not going to use the word better. Because that doesn't necessarily fit of what I'm talking about in the video. How does greater fit? Let's see. Which is greater? Let's see if that works. Oh, sorry, got some notifications. Which is greater? That's more accurate to what I'm talking about in the video. So, also, I apologize if you're watching this stream in retrospect and all of these dropped frames, but there's nothing I can do about it at the moment. I'm gonna have to deal with it for now. But which is greater? That makes more sense in what I'm talking about in the video. Of course, you guys haven't seen the video. It won't be up for at least another week and a half, probably. It won't be up for a very long time. So, but I'm trying to work as far ahead of schedule as possible, and I thought I'd turn making the thumbnail into a stream because I thought some people might appreciate hearing what I think about when I make a thumbnail, and thumbnails that I think I've made that are bad. So, which is greater? How big can I make this? Again, I try to push how big can I make this text before it becomes distracting. Also, what I like to do is, for example, oh man, what am I doing? I need the text tool. This text should be, I usually make it white. I go to my blending options, I add a stroke. Oh man, my phone's popping off right now. Give me a moment. I'm going to put that over there. I'm not going to look at it right now. I put a stroke. Make it decently sized. The bigger the text, the bigger the stroke. And then bevel and emboss. I think I keep it to default. Let me check. I don't think I have. I mess with it a little bit, if I remember correctly. I have, these are just PNGs. Let me close these. I think I got my point across with what the text says. So I'm gonna double check what my settings are on how the text looks. Give me a moment. Gotta make sure just my settings are correct so it looks alright. Yeah, let's see what this is like. Can I copy the layer style? Will it work here? Paste layer style? Yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. Well, let's look, just so if anybody wants to copy this. I think I might be using default settings. So, inner bevel, chisel hard, depth 100, size 46, angle 90, altitude 30, gloss contour, highlight mode screen. Just look at these settings if you want to replicate this. And yeah, I usually, so which is greater? I'll probably mess around with this. This is a little too big to the point where, again, the word greater is very large. So it takes up a lot of space. Because space, especially in a thumbnail, is real estate. You got to make sure that you're using your space right. Because, for example, would an anime work here? I'm using as much space as I possibly can here to fill with something. Same with, if you look at the Fates Flawed World map. Again, this is probably my best thumbnail in my opinion. In terms of, look at, if you try to look at any corner of this thumbnail, there is something to look at. Especially, what I love about this one, at least, is that the art helps too with this kind of cross effect, this shine effect on the Dragonstone. Helps a ton. Sorry guys, I'm also kind of hunched over. Try to straighten up a bit. So which is greater? Now, I'm kind of not feeling this one though, you know? It works, but at the same time, that's not what the video is about, mostly. And you'll find that I also talk about this a lot too, or at least I do not want to make any misleading thumbnails, you know? I'm fine kind of stretching, not even stretching the truth. I just don't want to tell, or I don't want to be misleading. And it's the video about which is greater, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 2. At the end of the video, it doesn't answer that question. Not really. The question, because the answer to that question is, it depends on your criteria, which is greater. Do you value innovation more than you value refination? Then you probably like the original more, or the original is greater. But do you value just better game design? That constitutes as great? Then, you know, Galaxy 2 is better. Or not better, but greater in that definition of the sense of a game being greater than another. So, which is greater? Does that question get answered? I guess. In a way. But at first glance, at least my gut feeling is like, that's not what the video is about, though. You know what? We'll work with this for now. We'll work with it for now. If it falls apart later, that's okay. We've been going at this for an hour now, almost an hour. I've still got another hour to work with this, so anyways. I'm gonna go get some art, some assets. Actually, let me open a new, I've also got some tricks for finding good quality images, so let's open up a new window. And, we'll mess with this. Actually, probably do this. New incognito. Oh! Guys, see some videos. Whoopsies. And that's just generally what I don't want to show. The back end. That's not a good mistake to make. Here we go. So let's head to images. And let's go Super Mario Galaxy. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get when we search up Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy, Mario. Mario is obviously going to be the most recognizable character. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools, I believe. Tools, and we're going to go to Size, and we're going to go to Large. You're going to find some really good images here. Especially when you set it to Large. And even better is if you can get the type, or if you get the color and you go transparent. And all of a sudden, you'll get a ton of high-res art. Especially with transparency. Not always exactly what you want. For example, here, like this. Doesn't necessarily have everything I want. You know? Or it has more than I need, honestly. If I go back here, let me go back. Does this have transparency in the background? No, this is white, unfortunately. You might have to work with this. If the results on the large transparent images aren't good enough. Color, transparent. I'll probably use this image, because this one will represent Galaxy 2 on the which is better. I might find a unique way to, or which is greater. Let's save this image. Yeah, that should work. So yeah, let's put that. I'm gonna plop that in Photoshop. That'll be helpful. Place that. And let's go back. Okay, we've got an image or some art for Galaxy 2. Is there anything around here for Galaxy? This looks edited. This looks heavily edited. So, can't really use that. Again, this is... Actually, I could just use this, to be honest. If this has transparency. Yeah, I'm going to save this one too. But yeah, generally a good tip is to set this to large and look around. Let's see, are there any similar images to this? Again, some of these are heavily edited, unfortunately. Mario, let's go render. See if there's a render of him. Again, most of the galaxy. Is this one? Okay, we found a good one. And we can use this for sure. Generally with thumbnails, you're going to have a lot of experimentation. You're going to see what works, you're going to see what doesn't, and you just got to mess around with it and see what works, see what doesn't, mess around. So let's no. So for example, for this one, I was thinking, okay, usually if you look at my layouts, usually it's another thing I like to do. If I can avoid it, I always want my text on the left. And there's a very good reason I want my text on the left. It's because the watch time for videos is almost always in this corner. And I don't want the watch time obstructing the text, because then people can't read it. Because on a lot of smaller devices, this timestamp will block out the text. So I try to keep my text always on the left. That's why by default, I kind of work with my text off the left. On my earlier thumbnails, I worked with text in the center, or centered text. It wasn't in the center, but it was centered text. But in this case, if I'm doing a comparison video, maybe it would be a good idea to, center it. Yeah, this might work. This might work. Is to center it. And now let's do, we got these nice renders. I generally want the text oh man, this image. We'll go with the other image actually. Oh my god, did I not switch over back to sorry. I thought I was back in Photoshop. Whoopsies. Sorry, guys. I was just talking at nothing for a really long time, I guess. So we're back in Photoshop. I'll just go over what it looked like before then. This is what it looked like. It looks like this. But this is going to be a comparison video, or it's about to be a comparison video. So in that sense, you know what? Let's do this. Let's center it and have something on each side of being compared, which is greater. Now, this will be blocked slightly. If I were to put an imaginary timestamp here, it would be blocked slightly, but the thing is that this can still work because people can fill in the blanks. Most people are not dumb. They can fill in the blank. If there's one letter missing, it doesn't matter. They can pull through anyway. They know what the gist of it is. So this is all right. We can work with this. Let's add in Mario on the left there. And where is my other one? Come on. Here it is. And we're going to flip this, transform it, flip horizontal. Oh man, this Yoshi's kind of hard to fit in actually. And generally I like putting stuff below the text. In terms of, layering the text over stuff. And you can see here, this is getting to be a pretty busy thumbnail already. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. I generally, again, like I was mentioning about using space, but the thing is with using space is you also want to be efficient with your space. Because this is really cluttered right now. This isn't concise, it's just cluttered. So let's try this. If we mess around with Mario a bit here. Nah, that's not going to work. Let's cancel that. Actually, don't place. I think on this side, this Mario works. We'll probably make him a bit bigger to go like this. Yeah, that looks a little nicer. Also, this background, we won't have it in here for now. But oh man, what I really like right now going on with this is this movement of the line. Going through... Oh my gosh, this could work perfectly. It's going straight through the title, which is perfect. It's why I think this thumbnail is so effective. These lines lead you perfectly around the thumbnail, and it makes it so appealing right off the bat. Also, chat, sorry chat, I haven't been looking at you much, mainly because I've just been going off on rambles, so... How many of you even still here? Jesus, okay, we got 5 still. We got 5 people in here. Oh man, we were at 2 for a while? God damn. We were at 8? Okay, we're fluctuating all over the place, but that's fine. But now I'm thinking we gotta have something else on the other side. Because this... Yoshi is just too big. He takes up so much space that it's hard to get in Mario. And we generally want Mario in here. Or at least right now, that's what we're going for. You know what? If it ends up not working, this Mario spin image is really good. And he might be able to carry the thumbnail on his own, but we don't know that yet. So let's try to find another... Galaxy 2 image. Of course. So we got Cloud Mario. I'm not feeling Cloud Mario at the moment. Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oh, didn't mean to open up support. Super Mario Galaxy 2 Mario. Let's transparent, large transparent. So okay, we got Cloud Mario. I'm not seeing anything catching my eye. Cloud Mario could work. Again, no harm in just trying it out. We'll see what's going on with Cloud Mario. See if if he'll get the job done. I doubt it, but you never know. Let me change I doubt Cloud Mario is going to work in this situation. No, Cloud Mario's not working out. Here's the thing, though. I think this Spin Mario really is good. Works out perfectly. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to work with the Spin Mario by himself. And this gives us a little more flexibility in terms of, you know what, this could literally be the thumbnail. Give me a moment. If we edit, transform, let's flip Mario around so he's on this side. And move the text over here. I'm really liking where this is going, not gonna lie. Mario's eyes are looking down here. There's a flow through the thumbnail, in which is better with his spin move. Might even want to tilt him a bit, yeah. So it flows even more, kind of through the title. There's some empty space going on over here, unfortunately. So let's mess around with some of the alignment. Another problem you can get with big words is when you have small words in between them. You get situations where like it gets big, small, big, which is kind of annoying. Which is usually you can do this, but now I usually try to keep it to 3 lines, and that's why I think centering this text in this situation is probably the better idea. Actually, let's go back to this one. probably a better idea to center this text and put this in the background. And now it's time to mess. I think, you know what? If you were to look at this on its own, zoom out, I really like this. I really like how this is turning out, because even from a distance you can see Mario's spins guiding through the title, along with the title is still easily legible. I really like what's going on here. Also, if you guys there have, sorry for all the dropped frames, but not much I can do about it in the moment. Don't have time to fix it. So yeah, I like what's going on here. I like the action. Now the background's where it's going to get a little tough. Let's mess around with some color overlays. Basically, when I'm choosing a background for the color, choosing a color for the background, my bad. I try to make it as not have good contrast with whatever character is in here, because the texture will stand out on its own. It's more the background's relationship with the character that's gonna be a lot more important. So let's go down to 45 and let's mess around with some colors. Purple's not gonna work in this situation. Also, my last video was purple. I usually don't like repeating colors. Green's not. I'm not feeling green. Red, not really. What color? This color could work. See, I'm trying to go for something a little darker, because these are the Galaxy games, so, and this is a very bright, going straight through the middle, so I think something darker would be more effective anyway. So kind of darker shade of one of these colors. Again, not purple. Gotta work with some darker shade of pink. I'm not feeling pink either. It's a little too hot. I know I just said I wanted something darker, but and again, this is where experimentation is going to come in. Without messing around, I'm not going to know what's going to work, what's not going to work. I'm just thinking of Mario's colors. How can I work with them? Blue, red. What can I mess with here to make something that looks nice? Oh, sorry, I'm going to be kind of stumbling blind here for a bit until I find something I like. Get a little darker. See, if I go to straight black though, it's all going to look the same. So I need to keep it up here. Darker blue, maybe. Oop. Thinking about this so far is that I like the action going through, but Mario, I might need to make him a little bigger, so his face is a little more into it. Let's see how that looks. I'm liking that a little more. Make Mario a little bigger, a little more eye-popping. Let's go with let's mess with the color a bit more though. The color is really the final piece that isn't clicking here. Again, I may end up making a totally different thumbnail when the video comes out. Green, you know what? Let's mess around with green. Not that bright. Not getting the type of green I want. This is a different kind of purple. If I compare that to, let's compare this purple to, give me one, to this type of purple. The purple in this thumbnail and this thumbnail. If I were to compare it, I'm kind of liking the darker purple that's going on here. Yeah, this is a very bright purple. This very bright purple right here. This is much darker kind of hue. I like what's going on here in this one. It's very nice, rich, kind of more royal purple. And I kind of like that. No, but this is looking alright. This is looking alright. I'd like to see your guys' thoughts. For those of you who are still with me. Sorry, I've kind of been going on a lot of tangents. But for something that made from scratch, I've tried to kind of understand my own process here of making thumbnails and try to apply it from scratch on one rather than you reusing my same template over and over again, although this fits very closely. But it's more like you guys have not seen the video, right? I've told you what the video is about. That doesn't really tell you much. But if you were to see this thumbnail, for those of you who are with me still, oh my gosh. I know, watching me make thumbnails, not the most crazy thing in the world. For those of you still with me, what are your thoughts? Need some thoughts from the comments. How many are still with me? Again, sorry to keep asking that. We got 4 with me. What do you guys think? Any of you who are actually still there, man. Oh man, this is kind of embarrassing. You know, last week was poppin', obviously because it was the Fire Emblem OVA stream. I was expecting that. But come on guys, there gotta be some of you there. I just need some brief feedback on what's going on here. But I'm probably gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take a little breather. I'm gonna take a little break and wait for some feedback. So just give me a moment. I'm gonna kind of check my phone, check through back here. Nothing going on right now. Take out my headset. Take a breather because I've been talking for the last like hour, almost hour and a half now, just about goddamn thumbnails. You know. Is my chat just not up to date? Oh my god, is it not scrolling down? Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Ah. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I literally just had to scroll down in the chat. I'm not gonna lie guys, I was so sad. Nobody was replying. But I just had to scroll down. Okay, give me a moment. Sorry, I gotta look down through these. I literally gotta reread all of these comments. I'm so sorry, guys. I missed all of these. Oh my god. Give me a moment. I'm so sad. Also, yeah, Brad, I'm excited for tomorrow. There is a new upload tomorrow. That's scheduled, by the way. The reason I'm heading to Michigan to go for a Smash Brothers tournament, so that's why I'm excited for tomorrow. And I'm heading with my boy Rengunshu. We're gonna play some Project M. Well, yeah, new upload tomorrow. You're right. You're right. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I can't believe I'm that stupid. Anyways, now I'm not done with this thumbnail. I agree with who was talking about it. Pretty good in my opinion. I think a different Mario picture could work better. Let's experiment. I personally like how this looks, mainly because the line that goes through is really good at guiding the eye through the title. It's good at guiding through the thumbnail, which is what I like, but I'm down to experiment with some other stuff. Again, Yoshi's just too big. It's more that he's just too wide. You can see how much space he takes up in just being wide, so I wouldn't use this image. Cloud Mario, Again, a little too much going on here to use properly. I think I'm going to stick with this one. Yeah. I think I'm going to stick with this one. Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. Guys, I thought you'd abandoned me. I thought I was all alone. I'm just joking with you. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I think this thumbnail, I think I'm gonna stick with this unless I decide to do something else. But how many of you are actually here? Let's see. We only got 3. That's fine. For the 3 of you who are here, people might see this later. You know, never mind. People might see this later. I won't do. I was gonna think of doing something special for you guys. Give you guys a sneak peek at some stuff. But nah, not today. Not today, guys. You're getting a new upload tomorrow. You're getting a new upload tomorrow when I'm on the road, on my way to Michigan. But I like this thumbnail, and I'm just gonna go very briefly over what I've been talking about so far in this entire live stream. Any text must be legible from far away. Check. The text must elicit some kind of reaction, which is greater. And the title is Super Mario Galaxy vs. Galaxy 1. And Mario's in the thumbnail, so which is better, Galaxy 1 or 2, is the question that's going to jump to mind, and it'll elicit a reaction. It's not as immediate as I would like, because in order to elicit a reaction, it needs the title and the thumbnail to work, which unfortunately is not ideal, but it's all I can think of in the moment. I might go back and make something up later that fits a little better in eliciting a reaction, but gotta work with it. The text must elicit some kind of reaction, which is greater. Mario, Super Mario Galaxy 1 vs. 2, opinions. Get people invested. 2, text should lean toward the left to not be in the way of the watch time or the whatever this is. The length of the video, the timestamp. So that does not get in the way of the text unless it's barely taking away like one letter and it's legible anyway, in which case you can live with it. 2, be efficient and don't make your thumbnails cluttered. Keep it efficient, precise, to the point. And I guess 3, 4, I've lost track of my points. Mess around with colors, experiment. don't have to follow an exact formula. If you mess around, see what works for you, see what you like. Just experiment with the thumbnail. See what's going on. What else have we got that we can talk about? Or that I've been talking about? I guess when you can make sure the art that you're using is in some way either a popular character to entice people to click that like the character. 2, the character displayed has some kind of connotation within that game. For example, this is going to be a dumb comparison. I don't even play Overwatch, but Overwatch is a great example. If you put a certain Overwatch character in a thumbnail with a certain title, that in its own way can kind of create a controversial statement or pose a question. Oh yeah, 2, make sure your title has some kind of hook or substance, whether it's a question, a provocative statement, something for the viewer to grab onto or interact with or engage with on some level. You know? Nothing just bland, or the text shouldn't be there for the sake of text being there. Your text should have a purpose, you know? It should have a goal, which is to make people click on your video. And I guess, yeah, make sure the art complements your thumbnail in a way by either being a popular character or having some connotation that matches up. In this case, Mario. Most popular character, not most popular, but most recognizable face in gaming. This specific spin move is from Super Mario Galaxy, which most people, or maybe not most people, would notice, but it has some kind of connection to Galaxy. Again, not the strongest example here. I'd say this is a much stronger example. I'll keep referring to this thumbnail because it is, in my opinion, my best thumbnail that I've made. Not a single inch of space is wasted. Provocative statement. Character matches up with Fates. Arguably, character matches up with Flawed. Sorry to take a pot shot. Again, this is a goal thumbnail right here. This is goals, guys. Goals. You want thumbnails like these. Or at least, you don't want thumbnails like these, but in my opinion, this is one of the best balanced thumbnails that I've made. This one isn't as amazing, but it's still... I'm not sure if I'll ever make a thumbnail this good again, to be honest. This thumbnail's too good. My other ones can't compete with this one. This is still good enough. I'd say this is a 7 to 8 out of 10 on the thumbnail scale. Probably a 7. It's good enough and it's serviceable. In my case, the title of the video is going to be doing a lot of the carrying, a lot of the message. Super Mario Galaxy versus Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 1 versus Super Mario Galaxy 2 carries a lot of weight with it. Innovation versus refination is what the video is actually about. But which is greater is the thumbnail kind of carrying with the message of the title. So in this case, the title is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of enticing people to click. But that's okay. I'm trying to work with that. What else am I missing? Just make sure it's visually appealing and clean. I guess that's one last thing. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Do you guys have any comments or any questions for me in terms of oh man, you guys going off on heroes. But anyways, do you guys have any questions? Because any questions about thumbnails, enticing people to click. Again, I'm not the most successful guy on the planet here. Like, I'm not tripping the life fantastic in views, but I do think part of my appeal in some fundamental level is that I have a consistent branding or a consistent style, and everything's kind of coherent. But you guys have any more questions about kind of just thumbnail design? I'm not an expert. This is just experience. I've been doing YouTube for a really long time and haven't hit the big time, so maybe you're following steps to failure, but any input is appreciated. You guys seem to like it. We'll see how it performs. I'm really worried about this video, to be honest, because all I've made up to this point is Fire Emblem content, and expanding to the other games is a kind of a big step for me. Of course, like I said in my future private production videos, most of it is going to be Fire Emblem content on this channel still. But yeah, hit me with any questions you guys got. Exactly, Mega Soda Rage. I can always tell what your video is in my feed. This is important. It's honestly a problem I have with whenever that's exactly, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mega Soda Rage. I've noticed thumbnails these days, they tend to blend in. They tend to blend and bleed together. If I see a page of subscriptions, or if I see my subscription feed, they begin to bleed and blend into each other, you know? It's nice to have a style that stands out, that grabs people where they see it and they're like, I know who that is. So I'm glad that Mega Soda Rage, I can always tell what your video is in my feed. That's glad to know that it's working on some fundamental level. What program do you use? This was made in Photoshop. Most of the techniques I used here are pretty simple. And you can probably do them in any editor. In terms of this color overlay, or in terms of the blending options, most editors will have a stroke. Also, by the way, the stroke is very key here. Like, look at this. The stroke makes this. The stroke makes this, honestly. Take away the stroke, this thing dies. This thumbnail dies, like, in the water. Oh my god. Stroke is like a blessed tool. So yeah, I use Photoshop. In terms of video editing, I use Sony Vegas, but I'm probably going to be making the transition to Premiere. But right now I'm using Vegas. So, Sony Vegas 12. I use Photoshop for my thumbnails. I use Audacity for my audio recording. If it ain't stroke, then fix it. Actually, let me see if I go to my subscription feed. You know what we'll do? You know what we'll do? Give me a moment. Let's go look around YouTube. Let's look at other Fire Emblem YouTubers. And they're gonna get some free critique on their thumbnails. You know, we'll see how this works. I'm interested to see, because let's look at some other thumbnails. I should have done this earlier. We're gonna look at some other thumbnails. Let me switch over. Let's look at some thumbnails. Let's go to Crash. Blazing Knight. Okay. Blazing Knight, he's subscribed to my channel. I'm not sure he'll ever see this. Probably not. I doubt he's watching this live stream, to be honest. But I'm going to talk about his thumbnails because they're the first one that came to mind. Okay, give me a moment. This is gonna. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna seem pretty mean here, but honestly, I'm just trying to give you guys an example of just. Wow, it actually appears. I'm in incognito. Let's go. Pavis Productions appearing. Oh, look at that. Compare something. I know me and Crash, our content is totally, or I call them Crash. Me and Blazing Knight, our content is totally different. Couldn't be farther from each other. in some ways. Blazing Knight is primarily a countdown creator. That's just what he does. Top 15, top 15, top 15, top 10, top 10. 3 for All is kind of his series that differs the most and gets most similar to me. Top 10. Again, how exactly good? So he has videos sprinkled in that are more like my videos, but his bread and butter is the top 30s, top 15s, top 15s, top 10s. But when you look at a page of his thumbnails, there's a lot of clutter. Oh my gosh, let's see that. I'm not watching my own live stuff on stream. Is he actually playing Crash Bandicoot right now? I don't know if he's streaming. Is he streaming? Probably not. There's just a lot of clutter. There's so much going on in these thumbnails that it's hard to pick out a video, you know? This is what I mean by things start to bleed together. You know, if you see a page of videos, they all kind of like bleed together, and there's so much on this like page of videos that it's hard to differentiate them from each other. And they all kind of just, you see a page of this and you like, what is like, there's so much on the screen here. Now if we look at them, let's break them down more individually. Some that jump out to me as good are this live stream announcement thumbnail is perfect, in my opinion. 2 simple characters, nice simple text, Fire Emblem, live streaming. Obviously Crash is much more successful than me, so honestly, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Maybe he's got a formula that's much more successful than I have. He's obviously got like, how many more subs does he have than me? He's got like 3.7 million views. Like 26k subscribers. He's got like 13 times the subscribers than me. So you know what? I'm critiquing him, but he must be doing something right on his thumbnails. But I like his character. His custom character is good. Again, it's his branding. That's important here to mention that. His branding, his personal character, I think that's great. That's a great thing to have to put in a thumbnail. Again, you instantly know it's his video because he's got his little avatar character in there. You instantly know it's him. Like, you see a thumbnail, yeah, that's a Crash video. You see him right there. That's the thing that pops out to me as probably the best attribute of his thumbnails, is that he's got his branding is his character, and it appears in every single thumbnail. It's just that the thumbnails themselves, outside of his consistency with I guess, again, I'm gonna give him more credit here. As part of his consistency with his character, a lot of these thumbnails, I like this one, masterpiece ? Simple characters, backgrounds nice and clear, thumbnails like this, thumbnails like this. But when the main problem I have is that when his thumbnails titles, when you're making top 10s, again, we make totally different types of content, so I've got to keep stressing this. His thumbnails fit his style a lot better than they fit mine. But top 15 Dynasty Warriors crossovers that I want the most. Do you really need all of that text? You've got this small little bit of text here. Their title is already conveying so much of this information that it feels that his thumbnails can sometimes get extremely redundant. Again, I think it works with his channel. I just wish, just from an aesthetic point of view, that it was a little cleaner, and that his channel, his thumbnails are kind of a lesson in, when you see them all together like this, it's kind of a lesson in kind of thumbnail clutter. Um, they all kind of bleed together. If you were to like, these two thumbnails right here are almost indistinguishable. I got, well, top 15 favorite Fire Emblem weapons, top 15 legendary weapons. Look, it's not my preference the way he does these thumbnails. It's not my preference. They're not. A lot of them are kind of redundant. They're not concise. And you know what? When you're doing top 10 and 12 videos, I think having top 10 in the thumbnail is important. I think it works in this one where the titles are shorter. Top 10 Fire Emblem Echoes characters. Notice how he doesn't say top 10 favorite Fire Emblem Echoes characters. The thumbnail cuts out a word here to make it nice and short and a little more concise on the thumbnail. And I wish he just did that a little bit more. I wish you did that a little bit more so you don't have thumbnails like this that have a bunch of really small text that is hard to read upon when you first look at it. Top 10 Fire Emblem archetypes. This is a good thumbnail. Top 10 Fire Emblem archetypes. Nice, simple, to the point. The characters, a little too many for my taste, but it works. Like, this is a good thumbnail. His thumbnails, look, they've been getting better, in my opinion. You've got some like this that I still don't agree with, but you got some like this, some like this. This one's pretty alright. The live stream ones are pretty alright. But just generally, if you look at some of his older ones, again, some good consistent branding here that I like. Character here, background's consistent. I almost prefer this kind of style more because it's a little more easily, you can kind of easily tell it's him a little more clearly. A little more focused on the characters. I think I prefer these thumbnails a little more, although I wish he'd change up the colors because, again, this is a bunch of me nitpicking and being petty and being like, ugh. Yeah, cut out Fire Emblem from every thumbnail. Anyways, yeah, I see a lot of you guys can confirm that. Yes, like on mobile, Blazing Knights text borders are unillegible. They're illegible. If you're on a mobile device and you have these thumbnails on there, they can be so small that you can't even read the text, and they kind of loses all effect. So that's all I gotta say on Blazing Knight. The 3-for-all ones are alright. Yeah, that 3-for-all, like, this is a good thumbnail here. There's some good ones mixed in with a lot of just clutter, and that's alright. Man, this thumbnail right here is like so much clutter that just doesn't need to be here. You could just this background image with just Martha and Chrom, Martha in quotations there, and Chrom. It could just be that image and just the same title. And these characters just do not need to be here. It just adds clutter. And anyways, that's all for Blazing Knight. I think you guys can see what I mean. Let's check out, let's go to good old Mangs. Check out his thumbnails.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
His are much better in terms of, where I prefer them personally much more to Crash's or Blazing Knights. I keep calling him Crash because when I first watched him, he was Crash X500. And that's why I searched it in the bar. Thing with Mangs has oh man, I can't believe I've talked this long about goddamn thumbnails. Mang's thumbnail style is very different in the form that he has an ongoing series where he uses a template and he plugs and plays. Basically, he plugs them in and he goes. All of his Civilization ones, you can tell. Luckily, here's the thing about Mangs. He's not gonna. This does not suffer from the same problem as Blazing Knight. These don't bleed together. I like how the colors are distinct, and you can tell what series is which right away. Pick My Edits is pink. They stand out. You can tell which ones are Pick My Edits. You can tell which ones are Fire Emblem Heroes ones. From a whole screen of his videos, you can pick out exactly what you want. Arabian Nights is has this kind of background to it that's nice. Arabian Nights number, plugs and plays. He has a template. He swaps characters around to fit what's in the episode. For long running series, I think this is ideal right here. This is ideal. Especially, I really like his Fire Emblem Heroes thumbnails. Oh my god, this text alignment. Can't you just move the text over a little bit, Mangs? Come on. Sorry, I'm nitpicking, but that's what I do. You can nitpick mine to death too. But this is what I like. You get a whole screen and you can tell exactly what you want. Same with Fire Emblem Heroes. For his unique videos, you can also tell them out. Character spotlight videos. Where's those other character spotlights? But like, this is a really good thumbnail. This Ike one, character spotlight. I wish maybe that. See what I mean about the timestamp here? See what I mean? This timestamp covers up text. So you have to be really conscious of this bottom right corner. What I would do in this situation is put probably character spotlight at the top instead, and put Ike in the bottom left, and then put Ike on the right. It doesn't matter if the timestamp's over the character. That's just what I would do. Otherwise, this is a really good. The background is blurry. I really like that choice. The focus is on the character. It's very focused and clean, and it looks nice, and the font's good, and it's clear. Great thumbnail. Some of these, what is this? Some of these numbers on the Heroes thumbnails, I guess, are a little vague. Like, this literally just says 80. This 80. Doesn't even say 80 seconds. It just says Fire Emblem Heroes 80, which is pretty confusing when you have these numbered kind of series. And then you just see Fire Emblem Heroes 80, but with no context when he's talking about 80 seconds. Again, nitpicks. I don't know why this doesn't have a thumbnail, but that's fine. Whatever. You can't. I get it. It's just a Patreon request video. But yeah, Mangs, in my opinion, much better. If you go to some of his older content, like look, these character spotlight thumbnails are great. Great thumbnails here. Also uses the outer glow effect on characters to make them stand out. Perfect. Again, blurry backgrounds. Perfect. Focus on the characters. Focus on the text. I just wish these were arranged slightly differently so the timestamp didn't block the text, but that's okay. But you can, like I mean, you get a whole page of his videos. You pick out what you want. It works perfectly. His thumbnails work perfectly for what he needs to do. Just some minor nitpicks. Other than that, I really like what he does with his thumbnails. Interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Sorry. Let me open up chat. Sorry, I was rambling again. Will you ever be doing an FE playthrough? Probably not. Probably not, nobody. I probably will not be doing a Fire Emblem playthrough. Anyways, let's go to Gast, because you guys were talking about Gas Station. So let's go look at Gast, and let's go look at his thumbnails, because he's another prominent FE YouTuber. All right. The Fire Emblem Warriors thumbnails, they're alright. But let's actually, sorry guys, I'm not going to open up mine again. I just want to compare his to Mangs, because I think Mangs does a better job. Because Mangs and Gast upload very similar content in terms of Let's Plays mixed in with the occasional long length running series. Or longer videos mixed in with Let's Play videos. But I think I prefer how Mangs does it. Mangs has much clearer colors that lets you pick out a series by the color. And that's much more potent than people give it credit for. In terms of just navigating a whole screen of videos. Gast, you don't really have that. You kind of have it. Well, most of the backgrounds here are just screenshots. I don't think there's a consistent background. The thing that picks it out is the text that says Fire Emblem Warriors. Sorry, guys. Ugh. My nose is itchy. The support science thumbnails, let's look at those. I like them, but I'm not sure if they're the best they could be, if that makes sense. I think he's got the background, perfect. People underestimate the power of a background out of focus or a background that's not cluttered as hell. You want simple, nice backgrounds, and blurring stuff out is nice, and it's a good way to do that, or simple patterns, and that's exactly what he does here on his support science videos, and you can kind of pick them out. The problem I kind of have here is that a problem that Mangs avoids to an extent is there's so much text. Not up here. The Fire Emblem Warriors ones I like more because they keep the text into the title. Again, this is an example of using the title more as a subtitle than the actual title. The actual title is right here mostly. Fire Emblem Warriors Part 13, Chapter 11. It doesn't say Part 13, but it's so implied now on YouTube. Chapter 11. You know what you're getting when you watch it, and then the best Xander. Like, it's kind of the hooks there. Or the subtitle is the title, you know? But I don't like the font. That's just me complaining about dumb stuff. But I don't know. I see a page of his videos and I just feel overwhelmed by text. It's kind of the same problem I have kind of with Blazing Knights. I feel overwhelmed by text and clutter, and there's so much going on in so many of these thumbnails that when I see a page of them, it's just kind of overwhelming. Of course, when you see thumbnails most of the time, you're not going to see them like this. You're not going to see a whole page of them. But just sometimes I feel there's too much going on in them, especially in his earlier ones. Oh my gosh, I just feel so overwhelmed. When I look at this page of thumbnails, of course it's all the same series one after another, so it makes sense. But I just feel overwhelmed, you know? There's so much stuff going on in all of these thumbnails that I just kind of... a lot of them feel kind of messy, and... Again, these are different types of creators. They're doing their own thing. They're much more successful than me. I can't really give them too much crap. They've obviously got a formula that works for them. But I just wish they would... when I see these types of thumbnails, I just think they should be so much cleaner, you know? So much more concise. I'm having a hard time picking out just thumbnails I like here, to be honest. This one's okay. But, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just personal preference, but when I see a page of this, it's just so overwhelming. And I know they're in order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being picky and having way too much preference. But I don't know. A thumbnail like this, a little more clickbaity, but it's so much more concise and simple and appealing to the eyes. This is kind of just, when you see a page of this, it's kind of an eyesore, to be honest. It's just so much going on. Bright colors that don't complement each other well. Again, I'm not a designer, guys. Like, I'm not your go-to source on this kind of thing, to be honest. I'm just going off of just some guy who happens to watch YouTube a lot. I kind of picked out what thumbnails I like and I don't like. And yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let me go back to the comments here. Alright, let's look through the comments again. Zerk. I'll go to Zerk's channel next. Oh, an obscure FE YouTuber called Pavis Productions. Any of you guys heard of it? Yeah, I've never heard of that guy. He sucks. We'll go to Zerk's channel next too, yeah. Let's just go to... Give me a moment. I'll go back to my channel, and I'm going to point out what my goal is with my channel in terms of when you go onto it as a first-time viewer. The only problem with my... or the problem that jumps out of me with my thumbnails is the amount of text and that it doesn't jump out enough. And that's a problem I'm trying to fix. So you can see these thumbnails, the stroke on the text is very thin. And that's what I'm trying to do. This thumbnail I really like, and I'm trying to have thumbnails look more like this in the future. I can see, like, here's the thing. I've been looking at thumbnails for the last, like, 2 hours now, so I'm probably tripping balls here and overthinking everything. But I try to keep stuff out of the bottom right corner as much as I can. You can see I leave that for the timestamp. The timestamp is part of your thumbnail, guys. Keep that in mind. A little cut off here, but that was my first one, kind of experimenting with it. You can tell, as soon as... when I first uploaded this video, I'm like, oh god, like the timestamp covers that, but whatever. I avoid the bottom right corner. I try to keep each video as a different color. They're not color coded, unfortunately. I probably should color code them in the future to be a little more concise and probably steal kind of Mag's thing instead of just different series, like different types of videos of different colors. But in the future forward, you're going to see more of bigger text, more stroke, just to kind of make videos pop a little more, because if you look at this row of videos, you can tell how they've kind of started to blend in with each other, yeah? This row kind of blends in. All these three kind of look all so samey, and none of them jump out individually, that they kind of just blend in with each other. This one being the standout, in my opinion, because it's purple among these greens and reds. It's purple, and it's just the best one out of these whole row. But you can see I compare this page of just, wow, that's a lot coming at my eyes, to this. Of course, these are Let's Play videos, randomizer videos. They're a different type of video, and as such should have different types of thumbnails. I don't expect them to have the individual pop, or attempt to be as differentiate each other, because this is a series. Like, it makes sense, and they're getting better in my opinion. Like, these thumbnails, in my opinion, the Warriors ones are much better than these ones. Yeah, these Warriors Let's Play thumbnails are probably his best ones by far. Simple focus on one character, much cleaner. Yeah, his Warriors thumbnails are kind of correcting a lot of the problems I have with these ones. Anyways, we're gonna go to Zerk. What is it? What's it? What's his channel? That's Zerk 4. God damn it. Sorry, I'm butchering his name. I know what YouTuber. Monster Zerk? I'm so dumb, guys. So, God help me. Give me a moment, guys. I'm so sorry, Zerk, man. I only know you as Zerk, and I've seen your videos before, but... Zerk Fire Emblem? Zerk Monster Hunter 4. There we go. He's in a much kind of... He's within more of my kind of subscriber range. He's got way more views than I do, to be honest. He's more successful than me at the moment. Can't deny it. Let me look at the comments real quick. Yep, that is a totally fair comment, Soda Rage. There are just less videos. That is totally fair. These people upload way more than I do. My videos don't even take up an entire screen. If there were an entire screen, you're right, it probably would look worse. So, you're right, Soda Rage. That is totally fair. Totally fair comment to make. When did I say at the moment? I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, at the moment he's less successful or more. I'm sorry, Zerk, man. At the moment, yeah, he is more successful than me. I mean, of course I have I have growth that I plan to reach, and whatever. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not worried about other YouTubers right now. I kind of looked to them more for lessons, to improve my own videos, rather than think of them as competition. I've got to make my videos good enough on their own merits before I start thinking about my competition. And I can't even think of them as competition, really, because most of my views right now are coming from their recommended videos. Just to be totally frank with you guys, like, most of my views are coming from recommended videos from these YouTubers I've been showing you guys. Like, they're the reason I have traffic at the moment. Of course, that's a two-way street. I'm sure they have views from my content recommended videos, but we're a community here, and we've all got to kind of work together. No point in antagonizing anybody or going out of your way. Anyways, let's look at some of Zerk's thumbnails, because they keep it. I like Zerk's a little more because they keep it nice and simple. See what I mean? Uses questions. Some of his design choices, or color choices, or I wish he'd make his text pop. Like, this is good. Text pops really clearly. You have Hector. This works. This is a great thumbnail. Sonya, a comprehensive analysis. This text is a little too small, but whatever. He's got Sonya, clear character, clear text at least of Sonya. If this was clear too, great thumbnail. My Girl, your typical thumbnail that works really well. Again, provocative statements. Waifus, yes please. Why Fire Emblem gets fan service right. This is the type of thumbnails I try to avoid, but you know what? In the end, you kind of gotta respect it. It's like, yeah, provocative statement draws in the viewer, and this is your subtitle. This is the subtitle to the actual title here. This is probably the thumbnail most like mine in terms of provocative statement, clear character. Maybe not the background, but this feels very deliberate in terms of how it's trying to get people, or I don't know. This one seems to be it operates as a subtitle. It's honestly it's a perfect thumbnail. Top 5 underrated units in Fire Emblem Heroes. I wish this was, I don't know, a little too much text here for my taste. But it works. This works too. Just I wish the background was a little less, I don't know. Just it's fine. Best Fire Emblem game, again, look at the questions. The question marks, like I'm saying. Provocative statements. Marketing saved Fire Emblem. The real reason Awakening saved Fire Emblem, because of its marketing. Stuff like this. His thumbnails, again, I think somebody told me to go look at Zerk's channel. Who was it? Somebody told me to go look at Zerk Monster 4's, and I looked at his thumbnails, and I'm like, I can see how this guy's very similar to me. And I can totally see it, guys. Like, best villain, question marks, questions. Question, guys. Like, questions and titles are so powerful. People don't realize. This, please don't do this. This type of thumbnail. This is please do not do this type of thumbnail. This so many different colors in the text. Maybe a future, like I can get like, okay, I'm not even gonna talk about that. Like, oh my god, sorry Zerk, but I like your current thumbnail game. Maybe if it was a little cleaner and like more design focused. Again, I have to keep disclaiming, guys. I'm not as successful as these people. I'm not a design student. I'm a game design student. I'm not a visual design student. I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. I just try to go for, like, I guess, I don't know what I'm trying to get at here. Basically, take everything I say with a grain of salt. These people have no reason to take my advice. Again, this thumbnail right here, stuff like this is stuff you want to avoid. You can't read the text. It's not clearly legible. Fire Emblem, I don't even know what these thumbnails are. His early thumbnails, no, they're... I think his early thumbnails are not good at all. Can you even read this? Barely. You can barely even read this. The title is carrying this hard. Like, his older stuff is lessons on just stuff you don't want to do. Slowly but surely, I see that he's gotten much better at it. See, this is a good use of different colors in a thumbnail. This is a bad use of different colors in a thumbnail right here. If you're going to use colors, if it's going to be 2 at max. But best in red, all caps, bigger than the other text too. That's how you use it. That's how you want to use different colors in text. This is a good example here. Best Fire Emblem game. Very powerful, to the point, simplistic. Got a character here too. Oh my god. My FE4 knowledge is garbage. Probably Arvis. Again, people are gonna roast me if that's not Arvis. But yeah, his thumbnails have gotten better over time. But you still got his old thumbnails. I'm glad that he's improved his thumbnail game. That's all I gotta say. Alright, let's go back to chat. Oh my god, you guys. I didn't think you guys would get it, but I guess I'm too, I guess I'm not subtle enough. Yes, I came from you from a Mangs video, I believe. Exactly. Most of you, I found you by my own. Well, thank you. Probably from a search, Redwan Gamer. I don't know exactly where, but most of my current influx of subscribers are from other channels. It's that simple. Any other guys' channels that you want me to look at? These are most of them that I can think of. Oh. Yes, I know who I want to talk about. Sage Master 15.
I don't know.
Probably the most successful Fire Emblem Heroes YouTuber. He's not in my kind of... I don't make Fire Emblem Heroes content. His thumbnails are honestly... His thumbnails people can learn from. They're not my type of thumbnail. They're very kind of... And there's still problems with them, of course. But I want to bring up Sage Master 15 because he's probably one of the most successful Fire Emblem Heroes YouTubers out there, and there's a reason for that. He uploads consistently, Some of his thumbnails are not that amazing, but there's a lot of really good ones mixed in with a couple of stinkers, but that's fine. Big bold text. I wish he'd contrast colors a bit more. Putting purple text on a purple background is generally not a good idea. Other than that, he's got big bold text, simple characters, like oh my god, like a special thanks, like big, nice, why does this still exist? Exactly. He mixes up using his titles with his thumbnails. For example, his titles, he uses them really well. Like a long time coming, ... like, or holy crap, or failure ... or Christ ... you know. He mixes up using his thumbnails and his titles, and he mixes up the game of which he's using in his around. Like tonight, Fire Emblem takes flight, I guess. Like stuff like this, you know, like P.S. y'all are going to jail. Stuff like this, you know. His titles, usually, if he has a joke in his title, he'll mess around with the thumbnail a bit. Like mission accomplished. Like I don't know, when you get baited, just stuff like his titles are probably way better than his thumbnails, but it's a good example of how titles can I don't know. People need to learn from his or a lot of his title game. His title game's on point, guys. There you go. It's not my style at all. He makes totally different content than I do. In fact, this is why it's like, with the way I make videos, it's going to be so hard to make decent money, because oh my god, people like SageMaster, 4.5k views, 8.2k views, 14k views, 15k views, 3.8k views. In the span of a day, he's uploaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That's an output I can never match, and they all get more videos or more views than not my videos. And this is an output that is extremely hard to compete with. Luckily, that's why I'm not doing it. That's why I'm making my content totally different from, or as different as I can from everybody out there. But that's what makes it so hard for me at the moment to like make this a part-time job, or make it. I'm treating it as a part-time job, so it will become a part-time job, if that makes sense. But I can't compete with this output. So I got to make sure each and every video is as quality as possible. Anyways. Let's look at some comments here. Etika is not a Fire Emblem YouTuber. Phoenix Master 15, Mamada. I'll take out I can't pronounce this. Phoenix Master 15. Anyways, let's look at the. Man, I don't think I've seen any of his videos. Oh, he makes these videos. Okay, I think I've seen some of them. Yes, I've seen some of these. Yeah, let's look at some of his thumbnails. Although he's not necessarily all Fire Emblem focused, but it's a good lesson to look at. Let's take a look at his thumbnails. Ugh. His parody videos. Perfect thumbnail here. This is like exactly the type of thing. Like these two thumbnails here, perfect. Title complementing thumbnail, thumbnail complementing title. Perfect. Another perfect thumbnail. Works perfectly. I love these two thumbnails right here. Not a fan of these. Not a fan of these. Not a fan of the Path of Radiance ones here. A little too much clutter for my taste. A little too much going on. Nice thumbnail here. I guess I prefer when it keeps it nice and simple. I like his Metroid thumbnails much better than I like his Path of Radiance ones. Like, what is this? There's so much clutter. Stuff where it's just going to be so much more concise. Maybe it fits the tone of his videos more. Again, I need to watch more of his content to really understand, but thumbnails like this, they're nice and simple. They stand out. This one's okay. It's a mixed bag here. I'm getting a mixed bag. I like his parody video thumbnails though. They seem a lot more concise. Five bad mechanics and Fire Emblem Gaiden. Some of these are okay. Some of them are a little too cluttered from my opinion. Sorry guys, I'm really tired. It's getting hard to analyze these. I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. I can't overanalyze any longer. Let me switch back to Photoshop. There's not gonna be any reactions to this VOD, guys. I guess I need to watch some how do I even pronounce his name? MamoDXX? Anyways, let's get Chrome off there. There's probably going to be no reactions to these VODs. I don't think enough people care about their thumbnails. Maybe they do. You never know. Anyways, this isn't just a thumbnail tutorial. This was like a thumbnail kind of just discussion. I just went all in on just my thought process behind thumbnails, criticizing and looking at some other thumbnails, teaching you guys, walking you through how I make this thumbnail or how I go through this kind of the process. Some neat little tricks, neat tips, you know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I didn't think I'd talk this long about thumbnails, but it's a very interesting topic, especially in Fire Emblem. I say this a lot. Fire Emblem YouTubing or Fire Emblem tubers, they're not really a thing right now. There's only a few that are doing it. It's not a very popular field right now. But I'm telling you guys, it's gonna explode soon. Not probably with the next probably when the next Fire Emblem comes out. I'm thinking Fire Emblem Switch, when that comes out, I'm guessing a huge boom in Fire Emblem content and just Fire Emblem content consumption. And the people who are established now in the Fire Emblem YouTubing community, they're going to be the ones riding that wave. And I think thumbnails are a place where we have a lot of room to grow. Other communities have their thumbnails down pat. And Fire Emblem, when I look around, some people have got their style going. Other people, I think we just need to I'd appreciate it if they clean up and kind of neaten up their thumbnails just to be a little more, I don't know. This is just me. This is just me being dumb, picky. I don't know. But I think going forward, I think good thumbnails are going to be a lot more key than people think. And making your content appealing to click on. Because more people are going to get into this and making Fire Emblem videos. When the next Switch game comes out, there's going to be a lot of people jumping on this. And competition is going to be a lot more fierce than it is now. Right now, the Fire Emblem YouTube community is pretty chill. There's going to be a lot more competition coming in when the new FE Switch comes out. And I think thumbnails are going to play a much more important role than people think in determining who clicks on what gets clicked on. And like I was saying, other communities have it figured out. I think Fire Emblem YouTubers don't necessarily have it down yet. Or maybe that's why Fire Emblem YouTubing isn't as big as it could be at the moment. Because because to answer you foolishly fool, FE isn't big enough. It is big enough. It's just, in my opinion, content creation for Fire Emblem is much younger than a lot of other game series, and it's just not caught up to the popularity of the series, or the quality of the content is not too there's not enough quality content across the channels to satisfy or to really drive and push growth. I just want to see an up hike in quality. Same. And I think FE Switch hopefully will drive that up hike, because quality in the FE YouTubing community right now is not it's decent, but compared to other communities, we're so far behind in terms of thumbnail structure, video structure, just general community like engagement. I don't want things to just a Mega Soda Rage. I don't to answer about your comment about Fire Emblem as or Pokemon YouTubing, which has a formula. I don't want it to get to the point where it's a formula. That's where it really, the life gets sucked out of it. Minecraft got put into a formula. The YouTubers now, almost most of them have got the life sucked out of them. Pokemon YouTubers, some of them have that too. Once there's a formula, that's when it kind of falls apart in my view. But I don't think competition in the Fire Emblem YouTubing space is competitive enough to drive people to make their videos or push them to make them as high quality as they could be. And that's the type of thing that it does exist in the Pokemon kind of YouTubing community. There is that competition, that drive for growth, that pushes people to make to constantly strive to improve their content, you know? And I just don't feel that urgency in feel that drive. There's some really good Fire Emblem content out there for sure, but I think there's a lot more room for growth still, and I'm not sure we've hit that stride. Despite how popular Fire Emblem is, I don't think Fire Emblem YouTubing has really hit its stride, or the Fire Emblem content creation is really hitting its stride. So, anyways, that's my rant for tonight. That's this week's stream. Next week I'll be back. Probably doing another stream. I don't know about what, but next Thursday night I'll be back on here. Foolishly Fool, Mega Soda Rage, Darth Roxac, Dog Roxas. Thanks for tuning in. Who else was tuning in? Let me go through the chat. Give some thanks out for some people who stuck with me talking about thumbnails. Red One Gamer, thanks for tuning in. It's mainly those four, but wow, thanks for the discussion, talking it out. Yeah, it's fun time. That's gonna be it for tonight. Hopefully you guys learned some things or got thinking about Fire Emblem YouTubing in terms of thumbnail creation or the current state of Fire Emblem YouTubing. That's kind of what that turned into right now, is a rant at the end. But mainly this was talking about thumbnails, and yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in.